Hey everybody, welcome to July Showcase. Today we only have updates from two products anyway, so let's start with the Wildlife Watcher. A product objective is essentially a camera that triggers when detecting movement of warm and cold-blooded species day and night, with an efficient framework for image processing and real-time notifications when certain species are identified by the camera's machine learning models, and good quality picture. So we have completed quite a few items recently and have a lot going on. We now have two working cameras, one that detects motion and can be used for machine learning purposes, and a second camera for higher quality pictures that also could be used for species detection as well. As for the camera case, the team has built a development version of the case, which you can see in the picture, the gray one, and started on the design for the second iteration of the case, that's more weatherproof or waterproof and user-friendly, which you can also see the image of the new implementation or the new iteration of the camera case. In terms of the mobile app, there's been some great progress with Adarsh with setting up a development framework and simplifying the whole process, as well as successfully implementing the Bluetooth connectivity with the camera and documenting the whole thing. And the team has also tested and documented the LoRaWAN and Trap and Z communication that enables us to send messages to a user, either scheduled for the device heartbeat checks or after species identification event. And finally, all the work from different streams has been merged together and code has been compiled. It took a lot of effort. So well done, team. Well done, Tobin. Tobin completed that work. And as for the work that is currently in development, we're completing the motion detection testing to check, and the camera testing to check for power consumption. And there's a lot of work happening with the flash to ensure that it's set up and calibrated properly. And as mentioned before, we have a new case design. So now we're reviewing it, validating it, and we'll be starting the build of the case shortly as well. We also have a new data ranger, Will, helping us out with training of our RAT model using Edge Impulse and working out what that process will look like for a user and simplifying it a little bit so that the user can do it themselves. And the work on the mobile app interface is able to start shortly as well. There's just some more cleanup of the old code that needs to happen, but the whole team will be able to get involved in setting up the user flows once that's done. In terms of user engagement, so we had a great meeting with the partners yesterday where we went through all the Wildlife Watcher features, collected some feedback, and informed the users of our future plans. It went really well. We had a lot of great questions and some encouragement and some really nice comments. We sent out a form for user to rate high-level features before the meeting, and just to highlight, some users had completely different views on what's important to them. That was mainly dependent on the size of the project and obviously what species they wanted to detect. But overall, the long battery life, accurate motion detection, and ease of setup and waterproof design seems the most popular with users. And after the meeting, we also sent out another form to the users to fill out with a greater number of features. So the first one was quite limited, and the second one was a little bit longer. That had sort of all the features that we had plans to introduce. We're still waiting on replies on that one, although we did have a couple, and we have a direct quote from one user, from Jamie here. You guys are total legends. Thanks so much for your awesome work. Really, really appreciate it, and so stoked to see the amazing progress you've made so far. I feel really happy to have this kind of work supporting New Zealand conservation. Very positive. Well done, team. Loads of great work and loads of great feedback. And especially this year in the last few months, there's been an immense amount of work. And you guys are amazing. It's only Ash and Victor here, but you guys are amazing. And next slide. In terms of next steps, we will continue user engagement with one-on-one sessions with the users to understand the project goals, target species, timeframes, both start and length of deployments, the target location and the size of the field, because that can inform how many cameras they'll require and exactly what features they'll need the most. And we also keep collecting the feedback from that form and shaping our beta version from there, which is where we want to get to before we hand that product to the users. And in terms of the development, we'll focus on a new iteration of the case and the PCB to fit the case design. And we'll be removing components that are not essential that were used for the development purposes. And there's still some work to do on giving user more flexibility. For example, motion sensitivity options, flash brightness adjustments, and image exposure adjustments. And the team will also be prepping the data for machine learning model transfer from Edge Impulse onto the device, and then testing the RAP model that we've trained on the device. So that's all from our team. A lot of things happening and a lot still to happen, but amazing effort from the team, and congrats. Thanks to Charles, Tobin, Adash, Ash, Will, Victor, Nick, and Miha. Great job. I hope I didn't leave anyone out. Are there any questions for us from anyone?
I have a question about the users. Who are your users? And I guess, so are they helping you test the cameras you have, or how did you find the users and so on?
We have a mixture of Department of Conservation, university students, and some other community organizations. As to how we found them, I'll probably defer to Victor, but currently we're just working with them on sort of prepping them for testing of our product when we have the beta version ready, just so that they can help us test it with real case scenarios and see, we can test how many use cases we can apply those things, our device for, because we were only looking at rat and lizard, but we are sure that our equipment can have a wider range of usage, and so they'll help us test. And that's why we'll be having one-on-one meetings as well with them, just to understand fully their use cases, how they want to apply and use our product, how many devices they need, where they'll be setting them up, etc., so that we can see if our device is ready for those use cases as well. And Victor, if you could answer the question about how we got in touch with those parts.
How do we find them? Just connections, really, just people that, New Zealand is relatively small, so everyone kind of knows everyone. And they hear, oh yeah, you're using this camera, we might be keen on use it, and just from connection. So no advertisement yet.
Thanks. And thanks, Kalindi, for the question. Ash.
Just a quick one. What were we thinking in terms of the size of animals that we were going to capture? You know, like tigers, lions, panthers, pumas. What were we thinking of? You know, what could be monitored with this size of cameras? Because I don't know the resolution of the camera, the distance at things which are picked up. So the proximity of the animal towards the camera would be important, I take it, to get accurate readings. Does that make sense, or am I missing the mark here?
So you mentioned all the wildcats, but that's not what we were aiming for. We were probably aiming right now for smaller and medium-sized animals.
Okay. No, it's just the reason I ask is so if anybody asks me, I can say, you know, we can look at lizards, we can look at bandicoots or possums or such. and that's what I was thinking about. Who are the target audiences of which areas or which animals and size of animals, and also the location. And as I put in the other document, there's another document I sent yesterday regarding the placement of cameras because of deep valleys and gorges. That could have an effect on the LoRaWAN signal. So in terms of that, I was thinking, you know, how do we pitch this to who are we pitching? Because terrain is absolute. I did some RF work in a warehouse, and the loss of packets because of the environment was phenomenal. And that's what I was thinking, that's success depends on, you know, and I think Charles mentioned we'd have AI mesh at some points to take care of the signal losses and stuff. But I'm just thinking, you know, I'm thinking like a techie. Sorry, I'm just getting excited.
No, that's valid. I can't see why we couldn't check if, you know, our equipment works with bigger animals, but I think our target use cases are New Zealand native animals. So I don't think there will be many that are the size of a tiger or an elephant. So I think that's what we're targeting first, and also that's why we want to do more testing as well, to see what the strength of the signal is in what terrain and locations, etc., just to check if our coverage is good enough.
Yeah, because the ideal thing is when we deliver this to a customer, giving them an idea of what locations are favorable and which aren't, would probably be most beneficial and will determine our success and their success, which would be our success in getting the data off and getting the world to use it, not just us in New Zealand.
Yep, makes sense. Thanks, Ash. Victor, did you want to add anything?
You covered it.
Thanks. Tash, question from you.
It's not as ticky as Ash's, but I was just wondering, are you at a point now when you talked about working alongside the users, you've got some users who are trialing it, are you at a point now where it's easy to reproduce the cameras so that you can, like, I see there you've got a number of cameras for August, so is it easy to reproduce the camera so that you can meet the market need, I guess is the question.
So that's why, the reason why we are streamlining the design of the case and the PCB is to make it easy to reproduce.
Yeah.
But we've had some conversations with manufacturers, and we do have some, if we need larger quantities, we do have that contact that that we can make and give them all the designs so that they can create those products for us. And for the in between, so when I think next iteration we'll just need around 30 devices so we can distribute them just only to partners for testing.
Yeah.
Victor has already looked around and he has a contact that would help us with
so if you've
making,
because you also mentioned, oh sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kira.
No,
right?
Go ahead.
Oh, with so are you users only focusing on endothermic animals like and rats, or are they other animals?
So that's what we want to find out from those one-on-one sessions. I think for now we only heard about rats and lizards.
Lizards,
and, lizards and potentially maybe some worms, but I'm not sure if that's still, and maybe frogs. But other than that, we will still try to understand exactly what the user requirement is.
Can I ask one more question? Sorry.
Yeah.
I really want to get on with it. If you've got all these different animals then that you're wanting to identify, do the users bring their own data with them to train the AI, or is that something that you're going to, as wildlife AI, will use data, like our own data scientists to train the AI?
So the idea, so right now we're trying to have at least a rat model trained and tested, so that the users can just use that out of the box. but the plan is for them to have a process that's easy enough for them to be able to train their own models, and either us uploading those models or transferring those models onto the device manually initially, and then actually being able to enable users to do that themselves as well, actually transferring, training and transferring of those models, because there are so many models out there. We can spend our time training models, but I think our time is probably better spent improving the technology and actually giving that for user to do, and that giving that flexibility to user as well, to being able to use their own data.
Well, thanks, KK, for answering my questions.
No worries. Thanks for the question. Anything to add, Victor? No? No, good. Are there any more questions? Thank you so much. We are moving on to Spyfish. Kalindi, did you want me to keep sharing?
Yes, that would be useful, actually. Hello, everybody. This is the July's update of Spyfish Aotearoa. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. The first two are just intros, basically. I think everyone has seen this one a few times already, but it's just to remind everyone that the point is to basically utilize machine learning and citizen scientists to monitor reserves more efficiently. And the work we're doing is a lot about automating all these steps that are involved with creating marine reserve reports. Okay, next slide. We actually had a bit of a year review just a few days ago, and it was really interesting to see the work we've done over the last year, because I think we all, the further back it goes, the more it goes into forgetting. So it was a good time to remember what happened in the last year, and I think we do feel quite positive with the progress over the last year, and especially the next steps feel quite achievable. So there's a positivity. But for the last month's milestones, I guess the biggest changes that we started looking into Beagle, which is the platform that we're gonna use for expert annotation. And there's quite a few annotation platforms going around, but Beagle is made for underwater, like it was created for underwater projects. So they're even integrated with the WORMS database, which has like scientific names, and all the other projects are underwater. So we started looking into it and connected it with our databases, and have Hiromi trying it out and figuring out a workflow for all the rangers in the future. And then I guess cleaning never ends. So we did more there. But I guess the big step is that now we did quite a lot of data validation, both within the lists that are within Doc and in SharePoint. So you can easily see what's wrong within a list, like if there's duplicates where they shouldn't be, or if there's other problems. But then we also did a workflow that outputs these errors in Power BI, like when things don't fit a specific format, or if the relationship between the lists is not as it should be. And then the usual more legacy imports, more file merging, and all this work that we've been doing over the last few months. And I guess the nice thing is that also the data is clean to a certain degree, that now we can kind of stay on top. Like we notice the errors that happen more faster, and like clean them up as well, because they're surfaced faster by the data validation. Maybe just some examples of errors, like maybe when there's a site ID missing, or the naming, like it shouldn't happen anymore, because we have apps that upload these videos and create file names, but there might still be some old data that people upload from different routes and so on. But now we know when this happens, and if they're not in line with the with the standards of the like data formatting and so on. Yeah, we're gonna next slide. We're gonna see how Beagle looks like, and it's basically you can watch a video, and then there's a list of scientific names, and then one can create these little boxes around the fish that is relevant. So yeah, I guess the good thing was that we were able to use some of the code used for Zooniverse also to upload and create these clips for here. So let's go modularity. And yeah, that's it. And just if you have any questions, and I think there's a little video with lots of fish here from Tuhua in the next slide. And they're not all like this, unfortunately. Some are pretty empty, but it's nice to see the busy ones. So here's a little treat. Yeah. At some point in this video further down, there's like 3 eels, more eels, like having a little bit of a, not fight, but like, yeah. So it's also interesting that these drops are 30 minutes long. And usually at the beginning, it's pretty empty. Like the image from the previous slide was the same drop. And then as the 30 minutes progress, there's more and more fish, and also bigger fish. And also this is quite towards the end, and there's a bit of a frenzy already. So that it's also important to, like, if we ever do size estimation, is not it shouldn't be taken at the end because it's very skewed already. Like then just the big guys come and girls, I think. Yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot. Any questions?
The remark from my end that it's been great also to start seeing the product, I guess, coming together. Just as a side note, that some community groups were also asking whether they can upload their videos so that they can see it on Zooniverse and they can share it with people. So yeah, even though our partnership is with the Department of Conservation and is specifically for monitoring marine reserves, there is the value straight away there for a lot of other community groups to use these tools. So yeah.
Kalindi,
Oh.
are you going to be how do you use Biggle alongside Spyfish Aotearoa? Like Biggle is the program that you guys use, and Spyfish Aotearoa will still be available for citizen scientists. Is that right?
Yeah. So Spyfish is the annotation process is made of 3 steps. Like the first one is the machine learning one, and then whatever is like low confidence or even like some spot checks will be fed into the Zooniverse platform, which is, as you mentioned, like the citizen scientist platform, which is and then the last step is for the experts, which is in Beagle, right? So people who you see on the right, there's like I think there's 200 species, whereas on Zooniverse it's like made more for like user friendliness. So I think we select a few species per site, and then there's you can click on it and it's like, oh, what kind of gills does it have, like what kind of fins does it have, and what kind of shape. So it helps, like it guides the user through the classification, but the goal will be to put the 3 together and output. So basically each step is going to be a filter for the next step as well, so that experts will only need to classify the more complex images. Like this one, for example, I imagine like a machine learning should be able to deal with it, probably. And that's quite busy, so but the fish is pretty clear, the visibility is clear. But then when it's very messy or when the visibility is bad, I imagine like we'll require more help with that. And
Yeah.
even just like removing videos that are empty, it's already like a big win
Yeah.
in terms of time consumption. So that would
Yeah.
be the first step as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Carolina?
And then just have a question on that. So once those scientists tag the animals or the fish, does that then feed back to Spyfish, and would that be used to train the model?
Nice. Yeah, this actually, yeah, so you see this, the reason why we, like the way, so the boxes are made here, and this is how machine, like for example, YOLO, which is a you only learn once object detection model. No, you only learn once or something like this. There's a base model that is trained on a lot of objects in the world, and then what we do, we train that model with our fish images on top. So then the model that comes out of it, like this is called fine tuning, the model that comes out of it is trained specifically for our fish. And in order to do that, you need to have images with boxes on them, and the annotation process is always very like cumbersome maybe. And so by doing it in this platform, by just doing the reporting and reviewing, we will also create new training data that we can then feed back into the model and retrain it. Yeah. So yes.
So if you need to have boxes around the fish, will you change Spyfish Aotearoa so that as a citizen scientist are identifying them, you put the boxes around it rather than the time and the quantity?
I think originally there already were boxes in Spyfish, but then there was a decision made that it's it's more effective to just have the count and like more user friendly and easier, because what we will take out of these annotations is just the count, right? Like when we download the annotations from each videos, we will extract just the count, and this is the information that is important for the Department of Conservation. But and also, I guess for training, it's better also if they're expert reviewed. So it would be, it makes sense to. And also, like as I mentioned, in Zooniverse we have only a few species, whereas here we will have all the species. So it's just going to be a more complete data set.
Yeah.
Yeah, Victor, maybe you have some insights here, or it's good.
No, answer it. Main thing is it's just user friendly to see videos, and we do still have the option for people to annotate those frames with rectangles, and that's how the model that we are using has been trained. So it's based on citizen scientists classifying still images just by drawing rectangles or where the fish are. But yeah, we have those two options from experts annotating and also from citizen scientists. So when we come to the next iteration of the model, we will be able to evaluate whether we push to the citizen scientist or whether we ask the experts to do it.
Oh, amazing. Any more questions for Kalindi? No? Any more questions in general?
Just the last one, in terms of where we are at with the Wildlife AI. If Tash, you can, I know that we don't have anything prepared, but just a quick update of what we're up to. That would be awesome.
Yep, sweet. So this week I am teaching the program at Stratford Primary School. So the last 2 days I have been teaching Year 7s who are, how old are they, 11, 12-year-olds. They Yeah, it's been going well. We're doing it off the new platform, which is amazing. Teaching it, we've loaded the programs now embedded within the website, and we've have a lot less technical difficulties than we had with the previous platform. So that's really great. Yeah, you can stop screen sharing. and also, I have to say the students were super excited today. They saw some starfish, like the spindly starfish on Spyfish Aotearoa. Yeah, they're like, is that an octopus? I'm like, I don't know. So we're counting the arms, and so yeah, they're really engaged in the actual mahi of it. And yeah, they were just they pretend like they don't care, but they do still understand. They're really getting an understanding of AI and conservation. So it's been really exciting seeing the two come together on the new program. Yeah. So it's cool. That's what I've been doing the last 2 days.
Right. Thank you for that, Tash.
That's right.
And thank you, everyone. Any questions for Tash, actually?
I just love the comment about year 7. They pretend they don't care, but they do. I think it's a good teenage image.
Yeah.
They think they're mucking around at the back. I'm like, you guys listening? They're like, yeah, you know. And then you ask them a question, and they're like, oh, they are able to answer the questions within the quizzes and that. I'm like, oh, you guys are listening, so that's cool. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing. Thanks, everyone, for dialing in, and I'll see you at the next showcase. Have a good night.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.